Hello, session number 35, and after the two half-hour sessions we're going to be back into a little bit more hard work for January, so 45 minutes now. I hope you're all still well and are ready to go. So if you just want to start off with your posture check, back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that imaginary wall. Open the chest, slide fingertips down seam of trouser leg. Just tilt the pelvis slightly so the tailbone points down. And of course you've got your zip up and hollow, pulling up and pulling in, open up the hips, buttocks engaging, knees rolling out slightly, arch of the foot lifting, and then spreading out the toes, weight even between the little toe, the big toe and the heels, and then of course breathing full and wide into the ribs. So you don't interfere with you pull up and pull in. So keeping that chin down over the peach. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, floating the arms up to shoulder height and breathing in to push down. Exhaling to lift and inhale to push down as you're pushing down through some thick custard. To shoulder height, start to warm up the shoulders. Keeping everything else stable while you do this. And then changing, pushing down and then lifting the arms forward and push down. Just lifting again, shoulder height and pushing down. Keep the back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that imaginary wall. Lifting up, pushing down. And then one of each. So you're taking the arms out to the side, pushing down, bringing them forward and push down. Keeping everything else absolutely stable by switching on those core muscles. Keeping that torso still. And then adding on to that one. See if you can add a little squat. Take the hips back and down. Keep the chest lifted. So arms go out, pushing down, and then a deep, deep squat. Keeping the peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. Starting to warm up the hips, the knees, the shoulders. Thighs, buttocks working as well. And just a little sit maybe as you inhale, exhale to push up. Nice and smooth, and of course with control. Knees going straight forward over the toes, taking the hips back and down. Remember, you can always check that you're taking the weight back by lifting the toes off the floor, keeping the weight into the heels. And then on the next one, just hold it up there, lifting the arms up, holding that there. And then turning the palms forward, just squeeze the shoulder blades together and release. Exhale, squeeze back, inhale to release. Start to work that posture muscle across the upper back and open the chest. Try to keep everything else stable so you're not jutting the chin forward at all. Reaching out, squeezing back. And then changing, holding the arms up, turn the palms up. Now bring the elbows into the side and reach out. Maybe exhale in and inhale out, or the other way around if it works better. But just working with your breathing, making it nice and smooth. Reaching out, squeezing in. Feel those shoulder blades squeeze together and pull down. And then maybe just one more time. Then reaching out, turn the palms down, and then keeping everything below the waist still, just slide the rib cage over the top of the pelvis and bring it back. Just to reach out and bring it back. Holding those arms up, of course, shoulder height. Reach, nothing moving below the waist. Keep that pull up and pull in, keeping the pelvis absolutely stable. Weight even between the feet. Reaching out, and then bring it back. Then adding on to that one, sliding the rib cage out and then bounce the ball. Bring it back. Slide out, bounce the ball. Keeping the neck in line with the spine. Just reach as far as you can. Stretch out, bounce the ball. Reach and bounce and then bat the ball forward. Bring it back to center. Feeling those shoulders work. So you're going to reach out, bounce and bat forward, and reach out and bounce and bat. But nothing moving below the waist, just slide that rib cage over the hips. Stretch out. Maybe one more time either side, really starting to feel those shoulders work, getting flexibility into your wrists, of course, and your spine. Holding that there. Turn the palms up and hold on to a tennis ball. And then rotate and bring the ball back up. So just rotate the ball back and bring it back up again. Getting flexibility into those shoulders, but still keeping the back of the head, the shoulder blades, the buttocks and the heels up against that imaginary wall. Trying to keep everything else as stable as you can, pulling up and pulling in all the time. And then just holding that there, bringing the arms down, turn the palms back behind you. Opening the chest, push back with the palms. So if you're trying to touch the wall behind, keep that tailbone pointing down. Again, still a zip up and hollow. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, push back, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, push back, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, keep going, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, push back, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and push, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 more, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, push back and hold. Now crisscross the arms behind you, opening the chest. Feel those shoulder blades squeeze together. And then just relax and give the arms a bit of a shake out. And then when you're giving your arms a good shake out, just getting your mat and standing on the back of your mat. Back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against that imaginary wall, chest open, relax the knees, drop the chin and just slowly, slowly head down towards the toes. Keep the tummy button pulled right up and in. Drop, drop, drop the head and then nodding, nodding, nodding just to get some flexibility into the neck and then shake, 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 shake the head. Keep that tummy pulled up and in and slowly come up. Keep the arms close into the legs, link by link, bone by bone, up against that wall. Going again, just drop the chin and steadily down. Let your breathing flow, drop, 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 maybe a little bit further, and then nodding, nodding, nodding the head. Shake, shake, shake the head. Just use the weight of the head and the arms to get a good stretch through your back. And then slowly come up, all the way up, link by link, bone by bone, shoulder blade, shoulders, back of the head, up against that wall again. And then one more time, just drop the head, peel yourself off the wall like that piece of wet wallpaper. Head down. And then do the nodding again, keep the weight even between the balls of the feet and the heels. Knees relaxed, shake, 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 shake the head. And then bend the knees slightly. Walk out onto the hands and knees and then gently down onto your front. And let the forehead rest down on the backs of the hands. Lengthen through the legs. Just imagine you've got a little flat hot stone now underneath your tummy button and just pull that tummy button just slightly off the hot stone. Sliding shoulder blades down your back, shoulders away from the ears. Maybe let the head rest. And then start off with that tummy just pulled up off the hot stone. Say on a scale of 1 to 10, you pulled up to number 3. And then take a breath in, and as you breathe out, pull the tummy button as tight as you can right up into your backbone. Hold to breathe in, and breathing out gently and with control, release back to number 3 on that scale of 1 to 10. So just hovering off the hot stone. Hold to breathe in, and breathing out, then squeeze up again. Hold it as tight as you can. Relax the neck, relax the shoulders, and release back to number 3 on that out breath. You hold to breathe in, and breathing out, you pull up again. Holding on the in breath, really feel those deep abdominal muscles work.
And then gently on the out breath, you release back to the number 3. So that's all you're doing. As you pull up, you'll feel your pelvic floor pull up a little bit as well, as tight as you can, holding on that in breath. And then release. Now this time maybe you could add an extra breath. So remember, you're not letting your tummy go all the way down onto the mat. You're just holding at that number 3, hovering over the stone. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, pull the tummy button as tight as you can, right up into your backbone. Hold to breathe in, hold to breathe out, hold to breathe in, and then on the out breath, you release. Gently and slowly to that number 3. Always got that little bit of pull up and pull in. Holding to breathe in and breathing out, squeeze it up. Hold to breathe in, hold to breathe out, hold to breathe in, and breathing out, you just gently release to that little hover over the stone. And then maybe one more time, just pulling up, hold, hold, hold to breathe in, hold to breathe out, hold to breathe in, and breathing out to release. Now hold it at that number 3 again. Now this time, quickly squeeze up for 1 second, release for 1 second, squeeze up for 1 second, release for 1 second. So maybe you go in from 3 to 7 or 8 and then release to 3. So not quite so far up, but quickly. Squeeze up for 1 second, release for 1 second. Squeeze up for 1 second, release for 1 second. And then one more time slowly, pulling up, 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 up into the backbone. Hold to breathe in, hold to breathe out, hold to breathe in, and breathing out to release. But again, to the number 3. So you've still got that pull up and pull in all the time. That little bit of pelvic floor lift as well. And then if you just want to roll gently over, please, onto your right side. Take the arm back a little bit, and you've got a nice straight line in alignment and parallel to the edge of your mat. Shoulders, hips, knees and ankles are stacked. Remember, if it's not comfortable with the arm underneath the head, you can always bring the arm forward and put your head down on a cushion. So that might just release any tension, too much tension in the shoulder. Or if it is comfortable-ish there, but you might want to put a cushion between your head and your arm. You might find that more comfortable. But rolling that top hip slightly forward, again, waist lifted off that little flat hot stone. And shoulders, hips, knees and ankles are stacked. I think I said that already. Anyway, you could have your hand in front to start with. Roll that top hip slightly forward so you're balancing on the bony side of your pelvis. And then hover the top leg, flex the foot, and then just swing the leg forward and point to swing back. Flex it forward and point to swing back. So the hip flexor is working, your buttock is working, the outside hip and thigh is working, and your waist as you're lifting off that hot stone. Then once you've got it going, maybe exhale forward and inhale to take it back. Then you would challenge yourself with where you put that left hand. Now you could leave it in front. The further out it is, the easier it is, because it's making the base wider. The narrower the base, the more challenging it will be to keep that cup of tea still on the outside of your hip. You could put the hand behind to open the chest and pull the shoulder back and down. Just take the leg back as far as you can and as far forward as you can without that pelvis moving and your cup of tea shifting. You could try the hand down the seam of the trouser leg if you want to. So you've really got to work hard in those deep stabilizer muscles. 3 fingers below the tummy button. Keep lengthening through that bottom leg because it will want to bend to help you. Maybe arm up towards the ceiling even, or just turning that right palm up would make it more challenging. You can take that left hand over the top of your head. But you decide where is the best place, just to challenge you without that cup of tea moving. Keep lengthening through both of the legs. Now when you've had enough, you feel that maybe outside hip and thigh is beginning to burn a little bit. You decide how many you want to do, and then just bring that knee forward in front of you, let it rest, and then flex that bottom foot, hover the leg off the floor, and just do a squeeze back. Bring it back into alignment. Just a squeeze back and into alignment. It doesn't really matter where you put your left hand now. You might want to put the hand behind to keep that chest open. because you've got your top knee on the floor, then you don't need to worry about the balance. Just squeeze it back, that inner thigh working, and also the buttock there. A little bit of hip flexor too to bring it back into alignment. But try and keep the waist lifted so you've still got that little bit of a gap between the waist and the floor. And then your waist is working. And then see if you can join those two together. You might want to put the hand in front of you to start with, and then lift the top leg. Now if that's too much for you, you can always do just one leg a few times and then change to the other leg. You can always just do the level that we've just done. Otherwise, flex the feet and swing the legs. Just do the scissors. Exhale to swap and then inhale to swap. If it's more comfortable, of course, you could point the toes. And then once you've got it going, then again, you challenge your balance with where you put that top hand. Doesn't have to be a big gap between the legs as you open them. And just try to keep that pelvis as stable as you can while you do this. This is tricky. So you leave that top hand wherever you need that to be. Balancing. That cup of tea, staying absolutely still. Keep lengthening through the legs, make sure they don't bend. Try and keep that cup of tea still all the time. Keeping that bottom leg off the floor, because if that bottom knee starts to bend as you push it back, it probably means that you're catching the bottom thigh on the floor. So just lift the leg up that a little bit higher, then the inner thigh will work that little bit more. And then when you've had enough of that one, then you just gently bring the legs together, relax the legs to the floor, bend the knees forward, maybe give the outside of the hip a little rub and a smack if you've got that burn going on. Keeping the head down still, the neck relaxed, there's no strain in the neck. Stretch the legs out, take the top arm over the top of your head, take hold of that top wrist, give a little tug, still balancing, core muscle still working, but lifting the rib cage away from the hips so you're getting that stretch down the side of your body. Because you've been working your waist when you've had both legs off the floor. Lengthen and stretch. And then if you just want to gently please roll over onto your back, taking a moment to set this up. Bring the chin down over the peach, stretch fingertips towards your toes. Working your way down, put your little grape in the small of your back where the natural curve is. Trade marbles across the pelvis, orange width between the knees. Feet rooted into the floor. Then breathing in, nod your head, leave the back of the head on the floor. Breathing out, curl up, crush the grape, look underneath the orange. Hold to breathe in, ribs to hips. And breathing out, arms, shoulder blades, shoulders and head go down. So it's just breathing in to nod. Pick up the peach. Curl forward, reach. And then gently, gently down. Remember, you can always push your tongue up into the roof of your mouth to relax the front of your throat, to make those tummy muscles work, not your neck. If it's too much, just support the head with one hand while you reach forward with the other arm, but make sure you don't twist your upper body. Pressing that tummy button to the backbone, making sure the tummy does not pop out. Or you could support the head with both hands, keeping the elbows right back. Breathing in to nod, breathing out to curl forward. Hold to breathe in, looking underneath the orange. And then gently on the out breath, you go down. And making sure you're not pulling on the head. Press the head into the hands and the hands into the head. So it's those tummy muscles that are working, not getting a strain on your neck. If that's too much, just pelvic tilt. Bring the hip bones into the bottom of the rib cage. Maybe as you exhale and inhale to release. Just crush the grape from the other end, keeping the feet rooted into the floor, scooping out the tummy. But if you can, you're breathing in, nod your head, breathing out, reach forward as far as you can, reach for your ankles, hold to breathe in, and breathing out to go down. Supporting the head if you need to. And maybe you could add on to that. Breathing in to nod, breathing out to curl. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, bring the arms to the ears. Breathing in, sweep round, reach forward again, a little bit of extra push.
and then gently, gently, gently down. So it's just breathing in to nod, breathing out, push. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, arms up. Don't let the shoulders go back towards the floor. Sweeping round, give another little push forward, and then gently down. Now again, you can just use one arm if you need to. You can support the head. Breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, reach. Hold to breathe in, breathing out, reach up. And then breathing in, sweep round, reach forward again. And then gently down. If it's too much, of course, you can stay with the early options and just hold on behind the head with both hands. Or pelvic tilting, maybe you could do an extra tilt. Maybe you could tilt the pelvis as you exhale. Inhale to hold. Maybe exhale, tilt a little bit further. And then inhale to release and take it back down again. So you can work from either end, you decide. Then, of course, maybe you could keep going with that, or you can have a little rest, stretch the legs out, take the arms over the top of your head and give yourself a full body stretch from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. Stretch through the tummy, stretch through the hip flexors. Lift the rib cage away from the hips, relax the neck. And then bringing the arms back down by your side, slide the feet in. So the knees are up again, feet flat on the floor. Feet underneath the chin, graping the small of your back. Tray marbles across the pelvis. And still got your orange width between the knees and a puddle in front of your toes. And then lifting, say, the right knee up into tabletop. And then hold that there. And then as you breathe in, tap the foot down into the puddle. And breathing out to lift back up. Maybe breathing in to tap down without the back arching. And then breathing out to lift it back up. Don't forget glass of Prosecco balanced on that left knee. Remember that you're not bringing your knee into your chest, so it's not coming in, otherwise you will crush your grape and spill the marbles which are on your tray. So you have your knee over the sit bone, and then just tap into the puddle and bring it back over the sit bone, over the hip. And then maybe you could push the puddle out a little bit further to challenge that a little bit more. Because as you push your puddle out, the back will try and arch off the grape. So you've really got to switch on those deep stabilizer muscles. Maybe inhale to extend the leg all the way out, tap the foot into the puddle, and exhale to lift back up again. So just push that puddle out as far as you can. Don't forget the Prosecco on the other knee. So everything else stays stable. And then just replace that foot to the floor. Move your Prosecco over, and then lift the other leg up into tabletop. Breathing in to tap down, to start off with it close in, making sure that back does not arch, keep that tray of marbles still. You can always rest your hands on your pelvis to make sure that there's nothing moving there. Bracing the tummy, and then gradually push that puddle further out again. So it's just inhale to tap down, exhale to lift up. Keeping everything else stable, relax the neck, relax the shoulders. And just push that puddle out as far as you can, while pressing the tummy button right down into the backbone, but without actually crushing the grape, keeping that natural curve in the small of your back. Getting flexibility into your hips, a little bit of hip flexor working there, hamstring and quadricep too, but mainly it's the core to keep that tray of marbles still. And then when you think you've done approximately equal numbers on both sides, replace the foot to the floor. And then see if you can stay with that level, but if you can, lift one knee up to tabletop. Now press your back into the mat. Crush the grape, lift the other leg up into tabletop. Then relax your back, but brace your tummy. And now this time, you're going to tap right foot to puddle, lift back up, and then left foot to puddle. Bring it back up without your back arching, and keeping your back on your grape. Keep the chin down over the peach, the neck relaxed. And then if you want to, you can start to push that puddle out a little bit further again. If that's too much, your back starts to arch, then you bring your puddle closer in, making sure that that back does not arch. You've really got to press your tummy button right down into your backbone. Extending the leg if you can.
but you decide how far you take that. If it's too much, go back to 1 foot on the floor, maybe do 5 on one side, and, excuse me, 5 on the other side. But making sure whatever you're doing, that pelvis stays absolutely stable. And then when you've had enough of that, you've done equal numbers on both sides, whichever level you're doing, then just hug the knees into the chest. Have a little rock side to side, release your back. Maybe put hands on tops of the knees and push them around in a circle. Again, that will just release your back. First one way, and then the other way, keeping the neck and the shoulders relaxed. Of course, still getting flexibility into your hips too. And then just putting 1 foot down, the other foot down. Arms down by your side, reach for your toes. And then lifting right knee up into tabletop. Breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, curl up. Tap foot into puddle. And roll back down. So you're curling forward. Remember, if that's too much, you can stay with any of the earlier options. You can just do the legs. You can just do the upper body bit. You can support the head. You can decide. So keep the chin down over the peach, looking forward. Don't forget that Prosecco. And then replace the foot, swap to the other side. Breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, curl up, push forward, hold to breathe in. Breathing out to roll back. So nice and smooth and with control. Breathing in to nod, breathing out to curl, tap. Again, you push that puddle out as far as you can. Support the head if you need to with one hand or both hands. Or you just do upper body or just the legs. So you can decide which level. And then of course you could take that up another level if you want to. Press your back into the mat, lift the other leg up. Don't forget that peach. Breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, curl up, push forward. And then gently bring it back. So you're breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, curl forward. Now again, of course you can leave 1 foot on the floor. You decide which level you're going for and how far out you push that puddle. Make sure when you're curling forward that you're pressing your back into the mat and crushing the grape. Now, there is, of course, one more level with this if you want to have a go. Breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, curl up, reach forward. Hold to breathe in. Breathing out, sweep the arms round. Bring the leg back and roll back down. So you're going to hold while you circle the arms, if you can. Breathing in, nod your head. Breathing out, curl up. Hold, reach it round, sweeping. Pull it back in and roll it back down. But if that's too much, of course you don't need to do that. Nodding, curling up, tap of that foot down, reaching round, sweeping round, and then gently rolling back down. So it's breathing in to nod, breathing out, curl up, tap, sweeping round while you hold, bring it back, and gently roll back down. And you do as many repetitions as you can manage, making sure you do equal numbers on both sides, and then just hug the knees into the chest, let the head roll from side to side, and ease out any tension in that neck. And then putting 1 foot down, the other foot down, stretch the legs out, take the arms over the top of your head, and stretch through those tummy muscles and the hip flexors that you've been working to. Lengthen and stretch and breathe. Lift the rib cage away from the hips. And then from here, the best way you know how, rolling over onto your left side. So maybe breathing in, nod your head, breathe out, push up,
hands behind the lower back, bend from the waist and push up. And then go onto your left side. Reaching the arm out. Again, take a moment to set this up. Remember, you can always get a cushion to pop underneath your head if you need to. Taking the arm back, then you've got a nice straight line from the fingertips to the back of the head, to the shoulder blades, the buttocks and the heels, running that top hip slightly forward. Just checking, whoops, that you've got a straight line, you can see your toes. And then maybe starting off with that top hand in front of you, keep lengthening through the legs. Don't forget to lift your waist up off your little flat hot stone, get that little gap there, and then lift the top leg, and then just do a kick forward and then point back. So you're getting flexibility into your ankle as well as your hip, but really switching on those core muscles, because really that's what this is all about more than anything else, is to switch on those deep stabilizer muscles to keep the pelvis as stable as you can, with that cup of tea on the outside of the hip. Keep lengthening through that bottom leg. So you're pulling up and pulling in all the time. Just watch the shoulder doesn't creep up around the ear. Remember, if it does, you could put the hand behind you, rest the hand in the small of your back, and do your kick forward and point back. And that will open the chest and pull the shoulder back and down. Or you could try hand down seam of trouser leg. You decide which one you want to go for here. Just take the leg as far forward as you can. Doesn't need to go far forward to challenge your balance. Trying to keep as stable as you can in your torso. If it's too much, of course, you just leave that hand in front. Getting flexibility into the hip and the ankle. And then just keep challenging yourself with where you put that top hand. I have no idea how many we did on the other side, but try and do the same. And then when you've had enough on that top leg, if it all starts to burn a little bit, then you just pop that top knee on the floor in front of you, let it rest, straighten out the bottom leg, flex the foot, and then hover it off the floor, feel that inner thigh immediately work, and then just squeeze back as if you're trying to kick the wall behind you with that lower heel. Just exhale to squeeze back and inhale to release. Keep that leg hovering off the floor. Keep the head down, the neck relaxed. Don't forget the waist is still lifted. You've still got that little bit of a gap between the waist and the floor. And then if you can, you take it into the scissors. So you might want to bring that hand in front of you again. Lengthen through both of the legs, flex the feet, check your cup of tea, and then exhale to swap and inhale to swap. Remember, if that is too much, you just leave the top knee on the floor, work with the bottom leg, or you can leave the bottom leg stretched out and just keep swinging the top leg forward and back. So you can decide which level you go to with this. And then again, once you've got this going, you challenge your balance with where you put that top hand. Keep keeping that bottom leg right up off the floor, flexing or pointing, whichever works better, in your toes for that cramp that might make itself obvious here. So think about having that skewer going down through your hip and into the mat. So you're skewered to the mat and your tummy muscles are acting as the skewer. Remember, you don't have to have a wide gap as you open those legs. You can have it quite narrow, but make sure that the legs are straight. Make sure that bottom leg does not bend. Waist working up and lower, because you've got both legs off the floor, and also you're lifting your waist up off your hot stone. And then when you've done enough, then just bring the legs back together and bring the knees forward and give the outside of the hip that little rub and a smack again if you've got a burn going on. And rolling over, please, onto your front now. So work your back. And then just take the arms, elbows pointing up towards the ceiling.
And thumbs just in by your rib cage, elbows pointing up, so you've got grasshopper arms, lengthening through the legs. Forehead on the floor if that's comfortable. If it's not, just turn your head to the side, let your cheek rest, and peach underneath the chin, between the chin and the chest. So you can feel those shoulder blades immediately squeeze together a little bit. Keep lengthening through the legs. Tummy button, of course, pulled up off your hot stone. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, just lift. Push all the way up. Hold to breathe in, and breathing out. Keep the elbows tucked into the side and go down. So it's just breathing in to prepare, breathing out, push. Feel the side of your elbows skimming the side of your body, and then gently, gently down. Make sure the shoulders don't come up around the ears. If it's too much, of course, you could just go up maybe halfway, depending on how much flexibility you have in your spine. So if you're pushing all the way up, you're just coming onto your thighs, you're not coming onto your knees, taking all the weight into the arms. So actually, the bingo wing department's working the backs of the arms. Make sure the shoulders don't come up at all. Keep those elbows tucked in, but you can just do halfway, which is more work for your back. So you can decide, but don't forget your peach, keep your neck in line with your spine. Keep that tummy button pulled up and in. So lots of work for your wrists. But again, you don't have to come all the way up. You could work your back more if it puts too much pressure on your wrists or you don't have the flexibility. And then from there, hold it there, and then just take a breath in. As you breathe out, just hover the head, the shoulders off the floor, and then hover the hands off the floor. So your back is going to work more now. And then gently take it back down. So maybe exhale to lift, inhale to hover the hands, and exhale to release, and inhale to go down. So you're just lifting up, hovering hands, keep those elbows tucked in, and gently take it back down. So forehead on the floor if you can, eyes focused on the floor, hold it there, and gently down. Or you could add on to that. You can lift, hover, extend the arms straight out, bring them back, and take it down. Try not to put any strain on your neck. Maybe take the legs out to a wider V shape. Turn the big toes in towards one another just to relax the buttocks if you want to. So you do a lift, a hover, extend, bring it back, and take it down. If that's too much, you just do the lift and the hover. And then gently, gently down. But you can decide. Hardest level, lift, hover, extend, bring it back and down. Now if you want to, you can add legs. Keep the legs out nice and straight. So you bring them back in together if you've had them out wider. And then you would do hover, one leg or both, arms up, extend and lengthen, bring it back and down. Then of course the other leg. So it's a lift, hover, so you're not pushing with the arms there when you lift the upper body, and take it down. Of course you can do both legs. Lift, hover, reach. You're working a little bit of upper back as well, that posture muscle across the upper back, keeping the arms tucked in. So let's do a lift, hover, reach, bring it back and down. Of course, if it's too much to do the reach, you could just lift and hover and go down. You can always just do upper body first. Maybe just lift and hover, arms out, bring it back, go down. And then maybe you could do a single leg, and double. You can do any combination that you want to do. But hardest version, it's the lift, hover, extend, bring it back and down. Again, you could do single, double with that, but you can decide which combination you want to do. Or if you want to work the backs of the arms a bit more, you could stay with the first version, keep the elbows tucked in and just push all the way up. Keep the elbows tucked in, go down. Still getting a little bit of back work into there. And then when you've done enough, coming up onto the hands and knees, arch the back, drop the head, pull the tummy button up and in, ears pointing down, get a good stretch through your spine. Push the hips towards the head towards the hips. Arch it right up. Then because you work the upper back a little bit, crossing the arms please at the wrists and do your arch again. Press down with the hands. You might want to come up onto your knuckles if that works better. You can also bring the hands closer in towards the knees if that works better. And then just change the crossover. Keep the head down, tuck the pelvis under, arch the back right up. Hold that there. And then just gently sit back onto the heels. If you can, let the forehead rest down. Take the arms behind you, palms up, lift the arms and rotate those wrists. Maybe open the knees a little bit, get those hips back further. Sinking back. Or you could sit on your bottom. If the knees don't like that one, put the big beach ball on your lap, reach over the beach ball for your toes, tuck the pelvis under the ball, and then rotate those wrists. But you need to ease out those wrists, putting lots of load bearing on the wrists. So promoting bone growth in those wrists. And then from there, if you just want to come onto the hands and knees again, and then walking the hands into the knees, tuck the toes under, hover the knees, push the hips up into the air, walking the hands into the toes with the head down, the knees slightly bent, keep the arms close into the legs, and slowly come up, link by link, bone by bone, right back up against that imaginary wall. And then shoulders back and down. Take a big step back with the right foot. And then keep the back heel off the floor, bend both the knees, and just push that hip forward, that right hip forward. So you can feel the stretch in the front of the hip. Hold that there. Get a good stretch in the front of the hip, and then maybe just lean back a little bit and get a bit more stretch through the front of that hip flexor that you work really hard. And then when you're ready, change legs. Just take a big step back, bend both the knees, push the hip forward, feel that stretch just in the front of the hip there, and then make it a little bit more by leaning back. But keep the shoulders level, try not to twist at all. Keep the chin down over your peach, and of course those core muscles are still working to balance. And then bring the legs back together. Back of the head, shoulder blades, buttocks and heels up against the wall, keeping the chest open, that tailbone pointing down. And then lift the right arm up, drop the hand behind your head and ease the arm back. Stretch the back of the arm. So you work the backs of the arms quite hard. Give a little push back. Don't forget your peach underneath your chin. And the other arm. Take it straight up, keep the arm by the ear by the arm, and push back. Just ease it back. Keep your tailbone pointing down with your zip up and hollow still. And just stretch into the back of that arm. And then bring the arms back down by your side, keeping the chest open. Drop the right ear into the shoulder while you slide the left hand down the seam of the trouser leg. Hold and stretch the neck and the shoulder. And then just turn the head and look down at that right shoulder. Keep the chest open. Slowly turn the head and look up and behind into that left corner. Try not to move your torso at all. Encouraging flexibility into the neck. And then just gently drop the chin all the way down into the chest. Slide those shoulder blades down. Shoulders down away from the ears. Keep that tailbone pointing down so you've still got your zip up and hollow. Pulling up and pulling in. Lengthen the neck. And then lifting the head back up. Drop the left ear while the right hand slides down. Stretch neck, stretch shoulder. Keep the weight even between the feet.
and turning the head, looking down at that left shoulder. Holding that there. Then without moving the torso at all, turn the head and look up and behind into that right corner. Just hold and stretch. And then gently drop the chin back down into the chest again. Lifting the head. And release the shoulders forward, up and round and back and down. Get those shoulders moving. Big, big, big shoulder roll. And then taking the legs out nice and wide. Turn out the knees, turn out the toes. Keep the chest up. Bend the knees, take it down. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Big deep breath in, stretch all the way up and down. And again, reaching all the way up and down. And then you can give yourselves a clap. Well done. Back into the 45-minute sessions now. So we'll get some work done. But remember, if you have any suggestions about any exercises that you want to do that I'm missing out or you want to do more of, please just let me know. Keep in touch, email. Heavens, we've got nothing else to do at the moment. So do your Pilates on a regular basis. Well done for staying with it. See you next time. Bye for now.